Hi everyone, so I've gone and bought Tamiya's Sherman Easy 8. I did say I wanted a European theatre tank. Second World War or modern. I wasn't really fussed. There's no rhyme or reason why I bought this one. I think it's a relatively new tooling. I'm sure I read some, it's out 2015 or early 2016. I've had a quick look in the box. I won't do an in-box review. There's loads online. But looking at the parts, the service detail looks absolutely superb. Really nice. So without any further ado, I'll open the box and open the bags and I'll get started. So one of the first things I did was clean all the major parts up and then put them in a section so I know roughly that those go on the lower hull, upper hull, turret. Now if I came to a major piece where there's those little peripheral bits to add, like on the front here, I have done that. Same for the rear. The top of the tank and the turret. I was quite surprised at the amount of peripheral bits on the top of this tank. It looks like someone sprinkled hundreds of thousands all over a cake. They're everywhere. Got to be careful not to knock them. Very delicate, some of them. So now that I've done that, I can treat this kit like a Lego kit and just piece it all together in one foul swoop. These two bits are quite tricky, so something to bear in mind when you're building this. There's little slots there, segmented slots, and you've got to line them up with the slots on this bracket at the rear here. So next this grill I've already assembled previously, and it's supposed to be movable. I think that's it. Now next stage is to add the bogies, which I've assembled. There's a 4-part assembly on each one. Now I didn't know whether to add the wheels or add the wheels later. I'm going to have to make a decision soon. So I think for the time being I'm just going to add the bogies to the body of the tank and then cross that bridge very soon. So we'll do that. Now at this stage they ask you to, along with the wheels, add the track. I'm going to leave that for now, for obvious reasons, and I'm going to concentrate now on building the top of the tank. So here's all the major components for the top of the body. As I said, I've assembled all the tiny little bits on the top there, all the peripheral crap. There's tools, maintenance tools on this, but I've left them off. They'll be looked at last and added last. A couple of lugs, well, on these underskirts. And it looks like a towel rack there added to this this shelf. So start adding the and this bit I added as well. This bit helps slot into the bottom body. We shall see what kind of fit that is in a minute. Beautiful. The next few stages are showing you all these bits adding on. The hatches, I've shown them closed because there's no figures supplied to fill those gaps and you don't want to see nothing underneath. And there we are, that's the top of the tank done. So top, bottom, it's taken me less than a few minutes. Now these parts have let dry for a good couple of hours. I just read the instructions, I just want to put these two parts together. In theory it should just clip. Looking at Tamiya's instructions, which I've looked at carefully, in case I've missed anything, because I usually do, and being Tamiya, it'll be well engineered, so it should work as they say. What they say is these two little lugs here, either side, you rest on the top of the tank like that. Now this tag here, just force it down slightly, and they're saying it should just slide in, and there's a pin at the back. Wow. Well, I need more of that. Yeah, very nice. So that fitted beautifully and worked a treat. All I have to do now is run a bead of liquid glue in those seams, holding them down. There's a slight hairline gap. Very nice. So I can make a start on the turret now. I've got all the major bits there. So let's get on with that. I'm going to leave this part off for the time being and paint that separately, and once it's painted and weathered I'll put the glass in and then attach it to the top. Maybe, I don't know yet, but I'm just going to leave it off for the time being until I've had a proper think about it. So there we are, the turret's done. We've got the machine gun to put on top, but that'll be treated as a separate entity assembly. And as I said with this part, I'll decide very soon whether I can attach these windows while this is in situ, or leave it off, paint it, and then add the windows at the very last moment. So that's the first colour application. It's literally a black version of the XF62. The principle is quite simple, just picking the areas that if you're looking from above would look in shade or dark. I've bled it a bit more than I should have done. It just means I can control it better when I apply the second coat, which will be the XF62 straight from the bottle. So there's my 3 shades applied. That's the base colour, XF62, a darker version and a lighter version. Now I wasn't happy with that lightness, so I made it a bit lighter, as you can see, standing out a bit more, perhaps a bit too much. But that's done now, so I can get on with sealing all this with a coat of varnish. So I've added oils to my tank. I used lamp black, cadmium yellow, burnt umber, olive green. I just used 2 brushes, one to apply and one to blend. So nice and contrasty. I still got to add a wash to these, and I'm waiting for some stuff through the post. So the panel line wash, a few areas that just need to be darkened, like these little recesses here. But until that stuff comes through the post, I'm on hold at the moment. So I can start on with the ancillary bits, spare tracks and the maintenance tools and the only tank crew member that's supplied with the kit. So while I wait for that stuff through the post, I shall get on with painting these. So these are the tank tracks, nicely detailed. I've gone through this stage of painting them, Vallejo steel, then the highlight picked out with Citadel steel, and then given a wash and then all sealed with Tamiya clear. I've done that as I've got a base then, so if I weather it and I've missed a bit of weathering somewhere and the actual track shows through, it looks like the actual track. One thing I was amazed at, reading the instructions, and yeah, I was amazed that I read the instructions, was that you could glue the tracks with the liquid glue. And doubting their very wisdom, Tamiya's wisdom, I took these tags off, glued these with liquid glue, and there you go. Why would they lie to me? Amazing. So they've been glued, nice and solid now, and ready for putting on the tank. So my enamel products turned up yesterday. I got a couple of mud effects, European earth and fresh mud. But what I really wanted was the dark brown wash, enamel wash. Enamel washes are a richer colour than the water-based ones. And a black wash would have been too harsh for the tank. So I've already applied that. I worked in small areas, let it go off for about 15-20 minutes and then go back with a damp brush and just blend it in. Careful not to add too much enamel thinner, otherwise it could disturb the surface paint underneath. I've applied that. Don't know what you think, whether you can see it. So the next stage, or decision should I say, before I add the mud, is whether to add a dust effect. It's knowing how to apply it that I'm dithering about. I don't know yet, but I've got to make a decision soon because until I do, I'm in limbo. So hopefully the next shot we'll see what I did. So tank's nearly done. I've just got to add the jerry cans, which sit loosely at the back. I thought they might have been tied down with something. I'll have to double check that. Also check, see if there's any aerials to add. Bug lugs to add as well. It's a pity there weren't more figures with the kit. I've gone as far as I want to with the weathering. I enjoyed the oils and the washes, but the mud effect I struggled with. This is the third attempt, and compared to the previous two, it's the best of the bunch. Maybe a bit overboard, but there you go. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I didn't add any rust to the tank. I thought being an operational tank, there'd be very little rust, if any. And if there was, it'd be covered in crap anyway. By adding rust, I'd make the tank even more busy, which I didn't really want to do. So I should take some still photographs, and hopefully you enjoy the end result. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. See you later.